What a track right there. It's Morning Becomes Eclectic here on 89.9 KCRW. That one's called Obrigado from Ed O'Brien's second solo album, Blue Morpho, out now. And there was a few singles that were released from the album. It didn't include that one, but once the album was out, I was like, oh, this is my new favorite. So beautiful. And you also know Ed O'Brien as founding member, guitarist, songwriter, atmospheric texture crafter in the band Radiohead, inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2019, and so on and so on. And obrigado means thank you in Portuguese. And obrigado for being here, Ed O'Brien.
Obrigado, tudo bom?
Todo bom. My brain is like, oh my God, there's so many things happening.
Yeah.
So you're here with us right now. That beautiful track. Oh,
Thank you.
the closer of your new album,
Yeah.
Blue Morpho, which I think may be one of my top albums of the year. I'm going to call it right now. We at the end, we're required to share with people our like top 10 or our top 30. So that one is in there for me.
Beautiful. Thank you.
And that song is such a trip. Like midway through, it just totally
Yeah.
changes
Yeah.
into something else. Tell me about that track, Obrigado.
It starts. I mean, the sentiment of the track comes from obviously thank you. Mm-hmm. And this album came from a sort of a dark period. I went to this dark place and I came through it and came back out into the light. And I was just, the gratitude that I had in so many ways, not only for my life, but for what I'd been through.
Wow.
You know, I think these dark periods, if we can sit in them and we learn and we heal and we process why we were, you come out the other side and you're healed and you feel more whole. And I just had that, and I do still have this overwhelming feeling of gratitude. And another thing, I mean, there are lots of things that sort of go into it. The other thing was, I've sort of been a bit of, I have a strong kind of spiritual foundation, and I'm not a Buddhist, but I really resonate with a lot of Buddhist principles, and one of them being reincarnation, and this idea that we enter our soul into the soul enters this physical form, and when we die, the soul leaves the physical body. And if you read about near-death experiences, what people experience, this is what they say. Mm-hmm. So I just had this feeling. So what am I going to feel like when my soul leaves my physical body? This will happen to all of us. What's that going to be like? Because I had this image of sort of the soul coming out the top of your head and sort of floating up. And that end part, the first part of the song is kind of rooted in the kind of the joy of the beauty of the planet and this Brazil and dancing, and then you drift up, and then what do you see? And I had this. My music is very visual when I connect with it, for me, and I just saw this unbelievable, beautiful planet, this home, Gaia, this earth that we live on. She's so beautiful. And she's magical. So I just had this feeling of, I'm just going to have so much gratitude for having lived a life on this planet with all the, and I've lived had an incredible life, but all the challenges as well, and all the people I love, and even all the people who I didn't love, who challenged me. You learn from them, right?
Yeah.
So I felt like this. It was just a song of gratitude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that idea. There is inspiration everywhere, whether it's you're inspired of what you do love or what you dislike. You know
exactly.
what I mean? It's
all part of it. If you loved everything, there wouldn't be the contrast, right?
Yeah, the contrast is important.
Yeah, super important.
And you've spent a good amount of time in Brazil itself too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how did you've lived there for a while?
Yeah, we lived there. Me and my little family went out there in 2012, and we lived there for 6 months, and we lived on the edge of a little farm next to a cachoeira, a waterfall, and the kids were like 6 and 8, and they went to the little village school. No one could speak English there, so it was this big adventure. And we lived on the edge of the Mata Atlântica, the rainforest.
Yeah,
and it was, the nature there is so extraordinary, and the monkeys and the trees and the bees and the butterflies and the Blue Morpho. That's what we saw, in the birds.
So the Blue Morpho is a sort of butterfly,
yeah,
right? And that's what you named your album after.
Yeah, and that the track Blue Morpho is all about the time living in these hills, and it was just a magical time. We had my wife and I have such a love for Brazil. For me, it started with the soccer and music.
Yeah.
And we've gone there a lot. And then we were like, well, I think it was at the end of a tour, and I said to the guys in the band, I said, 2013, I'm taking a year off because I want to have an adventure with my family. And we decided we were going to live in Brazil. And it was kind of the greatest thing we've done. It was such a magical time. And I left a part of my heart there. I left it in those hills with those people. And so it's always in there. And I love Brazilian music.
Yeah.
The saudade with the joy and exactly.
I'm getting excited now. I want to go straight to Brazil after this. Have you been recently?
I was there at Christmas in Bahia.
Oh,
which is just the greatest place on the planet.
The greatest place. No, truly. Like, if you're listening right now and you're thinking, where do I need to go?
Yeah.
It is Brazil.
It's
It's beautiful. It has like every single thing that our senses enjoy, from the way the food tastes to the climate, to the feeling of the people being so warm and fun and easygoing. The language is like one
beautiful.
of my most favorite languages in the world, particularly the way it's spoke in Brazil.
Yeah.
And like you said, the music. So I share that love for you so much. How similar, Ed, was Brazil to where you grew up?
I mean, if you could have the direct opposite. I grew up in Oxford and like I said, Brazil was so good for me because you know what the British are like. And you Americans know what the British are like. We're so zipped up, right?
Just a different way of being.
Yeah, but we're so zipped up, right? But I always say that Brazil, I needed to go to Brazil because I started the unzipping. And I think that's what the
literally and figuratively.
And Oxford, where I come from, is a very, very academic city, obviously. The university, it's like the Harvard of... So it's all about the mind. And you realize what you resonate as you get older. I'm a heart person. That's where I'm a heart and soul person.
You are a heart person.
And that for me, and that's just how I am. But Britain wasn't a heart and soul place growing up. So going to Brazil, it's just like, oh, I can be like this. This is cool. And it was just a way of, I guess it was a kind of validating how I felt. And it was so good to go from somewhere like Britain. And I love for me also, I love the whole spiritual dynamic in Brazil. I love the way, I always loved, I know he was from Colombia, but Gabriel Garcia Marquez, his work, his books, and that whole magical realism, where you have the world of spirit and the world of matter, and they sort of coexist and entwine. And in Brazil, when we went to Brazil, that's how it was, and that's how I resonate, and I really resonate with that. So, yeah, it's funny when you go to a country and you go like, I've never been here before, but this kind of feels like home,
Yeah.
So yeah.
So take us back a bit as we start listening to some of the songs you're sharing. Speaking of your childhood, a song that has held a new meaning for you currently that you know from your childhood.
Yeah, it was funny. When I went to this sort of dark place, I had this kind of ground zero with music. I remember in that first lockdown, I was listening to the radio and I heard a sort of, a song that was a beautiful song by a band who were a huge inspiration to Radiohead. And I had this thing like, I don't need to hear that song again. And in a way, it was about the music that I was done with. I basically think the genre of music that I came from. And I was trying to find, so what happened was I sort of didn't listen. I just listened to Birdsong. I was outside and listened to Birdsong for weeks and didn't want to listen to any music. And then gradually music came back in and I listened to a lot of jazz. I was listening to Coltrane, a lot of Brazilian music, but also classical music. And this piece of music that I've chosen is, I sang in, and I realized I had this very classical musical upbringing. Like I sang in a choir until I was 13. Until I thought it was uncool. And I went to my new school and faked the voice test, and I pretended I was. But I had all
Wait,
these.
you faked the voice test? What does that mean? Like,
well,
the
piano the teacher would play a note play a G or something. I'd go,
on purpose, bad.
On purpose, and he said, "We're not having you in the choir." I was like, "Good, I can go and smoke cigarettes and do." But one of the most extraordinary. So I sang in this choir, and one of the most formative experiences I had was I was a soprano before my voice broke as a treble,
Mm-hmm.
singing in
Wow.
this cathedral in Malvern in Worcestershire in Britain, and it was this midnight. It was this candlelit performance of Faure's Requiem, and that was a piece that really helped me during this dark time I was in. But it also connected me to my childhood, and I was just like, oh my God, I'd sort of locked away all these amazing kind of
Yeah.
experiences with classical music, because when you're a teenager, I was like, I'm done with that. I want to listen to Echo and the Bunnymen. I want to listen to the Smiths. But that it was this remembrance of this time, and as an 11-year-old kid, you're excited about the day out, and you're kind of playing with your mates, and you're in the stalls, you're with the choir, and you're kind of, but when something penetrates, when you have a transcendent moment when you're 11 years old singing it, suddenly it's just like, oh my God, this is amazing. So this piece of music I think it's like the closing piece of Faure's Requiem, and it's so, so beautiful.
Let's check this one out. You're tuned into Morning Becomes Eclectic on 89.9 KCRW. We're here with Ed O'Brien. You know him from the band Radiohead and also his solo work. His album Blue Morpho is out now. Morning Becomes Eclectic here on 89.9 KCRW. Oh, how beautiful was that one. Happy Friday to you. We're going to continue here with our guest, Ed O'Brien, whose new album, Blue Morpho, is out now. Thanks so much for joining us here for our Friday of Morning Becomes Eclectic. We're live from KCRW HQ. We're also on YouTube right now, youtube.com/KCRW, where you can see what live radio looks like. Our special guest today, Ed O'Brien. His album, Blue Morpho, just was released, and it's absolutely gorgeous. We've been talking about it and some of the inspiration that he's had along the way. So, Ed, you're in the early to mid 80s. I mean, continuing with your childhood. You're attending a boys' school in England, and you meet some fellow musicians, Philip Selway, Colin Greenwood, Johnny Greenwood, Thom Yorke, and you form a band called On a Friday. Today is a Friday.
Yes, because we used to rehearse on a Friday.
And that was the reason you called your band that, right?
Yeah, very original.
Sometimes you just got to grab what's right in front of you.
Yeah, and we did, right.
What skill level were you all at when you were in the start of the band?
Well, I was on a scale of 1 to 10, I was probably on a 0.25, but with a desire like at 10. Mm-hmm. Tom was always like that. He was always the kid at school who could really play guitar. Yeah. And Cos was a classical guitarist, but he was always I think he played in a band with Tom. Johnny was 3-4 years younger than me, and he was like a music scholar. So he was, and then Philip had played drums he was in the coolest school band up until that time, and they were called Jungle Telegraph, and he played drums and sang.
Oh, at the same time.
Same time. So, yeah, I had to pull my socks up.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah.
And were you at that point still hiding the fact that you had an angelic voice?
Ooh, yeah, I think I was. I think I've done a lot of hiding. Really.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's always moments that we remember who we really are, once we've hidden those parts. So I think, like, as long as you can get back to it at some point, then you're on the right track. It's
interesting, isn't it? Because as you get older, you find, I mean, and I've been through the process of being a father, and, being a father is the most, and a parent is the most extraordinary experience. I mean, it's been amazing. And now my kids are coming out the other side, and I've had so many learnings. And I'm actually at the moment, I'm trying to figure out who I am. And a lot of it is kind of like going back. It's like, oh yeah, so you're right. There's a lot of stuff that we, habits and things that we take on that are coping mechanisms, right, from childhood. And so, yeah, it's interesting with the vocal thing, because it's like you have to inhabit it. You can't sort of go in half-assed on it. and it demands a sort of, you have to be all in. And because the thing is with singing, and all singers will know this, it's, guitarists, you can, it's not the voice, it's the fingers. It it's through your body or whatever. Same with keyboards. But the voice doesn't lie.
You can hear when someone's not confident.
And you know that, and when you're singing. And partly what I was trying to find out in the studio is how do I get to that place? How do I get to that place where I connect with what I'm singing? And so for me, it's the start of a new journey, really.
I mean, and your voice does sound so beautiful on your album.
Well, thank you.
Yes. I'm glad you've unzipped that part of yourself once again. A constant unzipping.
Yeah.
So let's take it back to, your band On a Friday would then become Radiohead, but when you were still on a Friday, what's a song that helped inspired the sound that you were creating?
Well, we all had our kind of little fiefdoms of areas that we loved. So Philip was really, and we were all into these bands, but I remember he was particularly into the beat, who you guys knew as the English beat. Colin was he was Joy Division. We all loved these bands. Tom was R.E.M. I was the Smiths. Johnny was the Fall. But I overlapped a lot with R.E.M. and we all did. And I remember, so the track that I've chosen is an R.E.M. track. And when Document came out in 1987, I just gone to Manchester University I went to Manchester because of the Smiths and New Order and the Hacienda nightclub. I didn't go for any kind of academic ambition. I went purely because I was in this band, and I was like, I need to be in a city that has a great music scene. A bit like if I'd gone to Detroit or somewhere. Yeah. And I wanted to learn, so I immersed myself in the, I put on gigs. I promoted a night. I did a night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I did all this stuff because I wanted to learn.
Mm-hmm.
But that first September or October of 87, I came back, and I remember the R.E.M. album was released, Document was released on the Monday, and Thom lived in the same village as I did. And I think I came back for a dental appointment in a little town called Whitney.
Mm-hmm.
So I said to Thom, should we go to the R Price Records in Whitney and we'll get the R.E.M. album, Document. We both got the vinyl on the first morning, on the Monday, because we were so excited, because we loved Life's Rich Pageant. I mean, you know, the albums that preceded it were and Murmur's like one of my favorite albums. So yeah, it's been amazing. And like part of the journey, our journey was that we actually got to tour with R.E.M. and, you know, became friends. And Thom and Michael are super tight and super close. And Michael's been was really helpful for Thom in, you know, becoming the Thom Yorke as we all know and love now, but those, you know, and that those kind of growing pains. So yeah, it's been a pretty amazing, and they were our heroes.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy when you get to meet and collaborate with your heroes?
Yeah, well,
at some point you have to kind of like not be nervous anymore too, right?
I mean, it's funny. I was such a nerd the first time I met Peter Buck, because he was a big guitar hero of mine, and I remember it was like the second show we did with them, and it was they'd done their set and stuff, and we were sort of hanging out, and I you know when you cringe in life and you look back on, why did I do that?
Every day.
Oh, okay, yeah, exactly. And I just went up to Peter and I bombarded him with questions about Murmur. And I was like, that track on Sitting Still, is that a double track guitar? Thankfully, Peter is a music nerd as well, so he was happy to like, oh, this guy knows.
Yeah, he's like, you know this.
He knows this. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, and that. Yeah,
So what song should we hear from that album?
I think the first one, Finest Worksong, it's just an amazing opener, and it's a kind of the perfect statement of intent.
Do you remember how much that album cost when you bought it on the first day it was out back in the day?
Oof, I think it was like £5.99.
Nice.
£5.99.
Here's from 1987 R.E.M. Finest Worksong. Our guest today is Ed O'Brien. It's KCRW.
The time to rise has been engaged. We're better best to rearrange. I'm talking here to me alone. I listen to the
Oh, yes. R.E.M. right there. It's Morning Becomes Eclectic. Finest Work Song is the name of that track, as selected by our guest today, Ed O'Brien. We got some more selections and chat with him. Stay close. I love LA too because KCRW lives here and we get to enjoy these amazing Friday mornings together. We're live here from KCRW HQ. I'm Novena Carmel here with you. Thanks so much for tuning in. We're also on YouTube, youtube.com/KCRW. The chat is very lively. I'm seeing questions for our guest, Ed O'Brien. I just saw one right now and someone asked what your favorite Smiths song is, Ed.
I think what's the Headmaster Ritual.
Okay, there you go. Boom. We're not going to play that one right now, but that was just the last minute question that came in. Your new album is out now. It's called Blue Morpho. And as I've said, it's just beautiful. A lot of people in the chat are saying how much they love it as well. And one of the things that I love about it is hearing it, I can really get a deeper understanding of like what it is that you did that made Radiohead beautiful, like all the textures. And I'm like, oh my God, that reminds me of this song or that song. Mm-hmm. And so I just think it's nice because I know like the band was very democratic as far as like, you know, everybody kind of wrote everything, made everything. It wasn't necessarily written out who did what. But hearing you do your thing, it's like, okay, this is Ed's thing. I can hear him shining. And then I'm also curious, like, since, you know, you were in a band where a lot of the songwriting maybe was done by somebody else, what sort of advice you've gotten from Thom Yorke about songwriting? It's
really interesting because it's a really good question. It's funny, for years I never asked him because what Thom would do, he would present these musical ideas and songs, and sometimes they were fully formed and sometimes they were sketches and we'd flesh it out. But I never asked him how he got from the initial phase to bring it to the band. And I always thought they just sort of came like that. Mm-hmm. And for me, in the process of learning how to write music myself or how to find a process, I had to learn. I never asked Thom about that thing, but I had to find out myself. But once I did, I remember I was talking to, it was Johnny's 50th, and we were standing around a fire, and I thought, I'm going to ask him about, you know, songwriting, because he's such a maestro. Mm-hmm. And I said, we started talking, and he gave me a brilliant bit of advice. And it's really practical. He said, you've got to be a good librarian, because what happens is you get lots of musical ideas, and they can be musical motifs. They can be anything from 15 seconds long, a little pattern, to something that's more fleshed out. But you don't always record those songs or develop them. You develop them when they feel right. Mm-hmm. But you can forget what you've done. Oh, yeah. So you've got to be a good librarian. So you have to like make playlists. You have to have a certain order. And I love that kind of, you know, he went to art school. And I think one of the things about art school that they teach you ways of harnessing your creativity and making it flourish and making the most of it. And a lot of that is purely practical. Have a notebook, write it down, record it, review it, go back, know what you've got. Yeah. You know? Yeah, and it's kind of like setting yourself up to be organized so then you can be free within the organization, right? That's how I feel coming in here talking to you. I organize myself and now I feel free. Exactly. You have a framework. Great. We're in the framework. Yeah. So let's talk more about music. Yeah. We want to ask you, we could talk forever, and we're sort of towards the end of our time. But we have about 10 more minutes left together. Share with us an artist that you feel like is an unsung hero. Yeah. Well, this is Samora Pinderhughes. I don't know if you guys... Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course. Bay Area. I'm also from the Bay. Okay. He's amazing. He's amazing. I've also heard his music and be like, oh, this reminds me of Radiohead. So. Well, you know, funny enough, so when I was coming out of this sort of dark period, there's a radio show on Six Music. BBC have this channel called Six Music. Mm-hmm. And there's a DJ, and very well respected, called Giles Peterson. We know Giles. You know Giles, right? Okay. Love Giles. And his show, you know, is like this beautifully curated 3 hours. It's like stepping into a musical universe. Yeah. Like it is here. Oh, yes. Yeah, like the vibe and, you know. And one of the artists he played in 2022 was Samora Pinderhughes. He played this track, Grief, that, you know, you're going to play. And he actually, unusually for him, he played it the next week as well. And I thought it was the most perfect musical response to the whole COVID time. Mm-hmm. He had obviously, his community had obviously suffered and he'd lost people. And this track is just mesmeric. And it does, you're right, it feels to me like it's got a little bit, it's kind of one of those things when you hear it, you go, God, I wish I'd written that.
Yeah.
It's got that very cyclical loop that is very, very Radiohead. And it's also kind of me. It's like, I love those cyclical, and they slightly, they move and they flow and they, throw a note in and maybe an extra beat, but it's just sublime. And I think he's a beautiful artist. And
He is.
And one of the great things about, we connected on, because I dropped his name when I started doing the interviews 2 months ago, and and he contacted me, he DM'd me, via Instagram, and he said, "Oh, I'm a big Radiohead fan." I'm like, "No way," So it's beautiful. I love him. I think he's super talented. Saw him live last year in London, in a little church. It was immaculate.
Yeah, he is really special, and his voice is one of a kind, which you'll hear right now too. Here's Samora Pinderhughes. We're with a guest today, Ed O'Brien. It's KCRW.
So long. I can't escape. You hold this space in my memory. Who's God? Makes sense. When I cannot face you, I looked away, you were gone from me. Nothing I could say. 4 losses in 1 week. Too many hearses. What's one more rose on the centerpiece? Now I'm exhausted, but I won't leave. 'Cause last night I heard you called up your phone for the voice machine.
Death is much worse for the ones left behind. Don't leave me alone with my dreams.
I might go crazy this time.
Check for what's left in the ones who survived. Don't leave me alone with my dreams.
No, don't let them take me tonight.
I dip on my door, rivers in private hit the floor. All of me suffers in silence of blood. Wait, how do we always survive this? I can't see forward. Down this well, you can't tell what sounds like sirens versus suns.
Oh, the time always goes by when you're having fun. It's Morning Becomes Eclectic. We're listening to Samora Pinderhughes, selected by our guest today, Ed O'Brien. And one of the things Samora Pinderhughes says is that his goal is for people to live differently after experiencing what he makes. Ed, what would you say? Do you have a goal for what people will do with the music that you make?
Wow. You got me on the spot. My thing is, I feel like the older that I get, it's about service. You know, what we do is about service. Human beings as human. That's when we really resonate with. That's when life becomes meaningful. So for me, you know, there are many elements of service, but the music, when it comes out, serving the music, and then when you play live and when you record it, it's serving the song. When in fact, when the music comes out, it's serving spirit. You know, because what I do essentially, you know, I've realized this. I don't know how I write music, but it's a spiritual thing. I write with God. I write with spirit. I'm a vessel.
Yeah.
So it's about serving spirit, God. It's serving, you know, people who want to, who are into this. It's serving our planet. And I think for me, that's the main thing. And I think, unfortunately, the way that society is now, we've lost sense that I think people used to think that life was service. You know, we are not the center of the universe. We are serving something else. So for me, I don't know if the music's going to make people think of service, but that's quite grand. But you know, do you know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, I feel like the album for me calms my soul, which is an important service.
Yeah.
And it feels like a warm hug, but then it also kind of like tickles my curiosity about what's possible. So it is definitely, from my perspective, Blue Morpho, the album you've created, is a service.
Thank you.
To the humans out here just trying to survive in this world. And you also have a film for it that's coming out as well. Can you tell us about that? We got a couple minutes left.
Yeah, you know, it's quite hard to talk about some of the themes of this record, particularly when you're British and you're unzipping. So, you know, film and images and footage can say a million things that, you know, I might struggle with, like I'm struggling with talking about spirit because I'm a British man from Oxfordshire.
You're doing great.
So the film, you know, nature is my God. That's where I really, you know, the woods are my cathedral. You know, that's where I really feel it. So we shot this film, and it's a little bit about the journey and where I was. And it means, I think when people see it, they get an essence of this. A lot of it is it's all filmed in Wales, where we've got our home, and it's wild and it's beautiful, and it's so yeah. I think you just you feel the depths of where I'm coming from without me sort of struggling for words and umming and ahhing in a very British way.
It's great. It'll be on YouTube Premium, from what I understand. And what is it called again?
It's called Blue Morpho, a film in Acts 1 through 3.
Acts 1 through 3.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Ed O'Brien has been our guest this morning. His new album, Blue Morpho, is out now. This has been so magical. Thank you so much, Ed.
Thank you so much. It's been so much fun.
It's been so much fun. Yeah. And we're going to continue with one more of his songs after news headlines from NPR right here on KCRW. I'll tell you what the prompt was for the song, simply because we ran out of time. But it's been so great having you. And thanks so much for tuning in to Morning Becomes Eclectic on 89.9 KCRW. I'm Novena Carmel, here with you until noon.